going on, folks? Special episode of Inside the Rapper Studio, episode 45. Of course, I do the usual Monday through Friday, but had a little bit of a snafu with scheduling. So, today's special episode, guest starring DDM, will be today. Glad everybody can make it. Hopefully everybody's having a solid weekend. Hopefully everybody's having a solid Saturday. You'll have to excuse the lack of energy. I came home from golfing. First time golfing ever. I felt very middle class. It was very weird seeing a bunch of rich black people look at you like a bunch of niggers. But, I mean, I think that's an experience for outside of this interview series. So, DDM, you can go ahead and send the request for the live. You're not popping up yet. I see the hello, but it's just not popping up for the thing. Let's see if we can try this one more time. There you go. All right. Let's get these notes together. All right.
Hey!
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, right. Let's get the thing started. Everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of Inside the Rapper Studio. Of course, I'm your host, Score F. Swayze, and today we have a very special guest in the building. I consider him Baltimore music royalty. He just recently released a project called Ballad of Monarch, available everywhere on all streaming sites. Everybody, please welcome the one, the only DDM, a.k.a. Dapper Dan Myers.
What's going on, y'all?
Not much. Another blessed day on this earth. How are you?
I am doing pretty good. Today it was a protest up the street from my house. Actually, I live on St. Paul next to Penn Station. And there's a protest on North Avenue. It's hot as hell outside, you know, that whole thing. So, yeah. You know, so it's pretty cool. I'm just sharing the interview with everybody in my listing.
Gotcha.
We can bring some. So I wish you could just share it to your story. Instagram makes everything so fucking difficult.
So difficult, you know. And I'm like a good two bad shows away from going straight to Twitch, and everybody's gonna have to follow me there. It's really not gonna take that hard for me because Instagram usually it doesn't mess up for me, but it doesn't make things easy for me. You know?
Right. It's like, what's going on? It's annoying. But it's very outside of that, it's been pretty cute. I can't complain. How are you?
I can't call it, you know. It's just I got another interview today. I got a star to talk to. I have to ask a bunch of questions and pretend that I am a journalist. So it's another day for me to live. So
awesome.
So with every episode of Inside the Rapper Studio, there is an origin story told from the guest point of view of how everything got started musically. So could you tell us how everything got started with the artist known as DDM?
Short version, Black boy hears Little Kim in middle school when he's not supposed to. Black boy gets curious. Black boy dubs Little Kim tape. Black boy then finds out it's this fat black man named the Notorious B.I.G. who basically molds said rapper whose tape he does. Black boy goes to high school. Black boy starts battling on black tops. Black boy then starts going to local hip-hop clubs such as the Five Seasons and starts battling and winning. Black boy joins several rap outfit collectives during that time. Black boy decides this is whack. Black boy then comes out the closet. Black boy gets shunned from local rap community. Black boy then has to go and work in the DIY sector where he starts getting paid for his shows. Black boy then decides to come into his own. Then Black boy decides, hey, I'm going to be in a band with this white kid from Montgomery County. We do a few runs and some good money. The corporate gigs start rolling in. Then Black Boy realizes that he has more to talk about that he can't necessarily do in a group setting. Black Boy then goes solo again. Black Boy writes a project called Beautiful Gowns. That was a great commercial moment for Black Boy, but Black Boy still felt like he wasn't really expressing himself. Black Boy then writes a project called Ballad of Omar, talking about Black Boy's traumatic past, and here we are.
I'm going to be honest with you, Gideon. Has to be the best origin story anybody's told. Thank you so much for very enthusiastic sale. I can't even pinpoint where to like start from that whole honestly. So you mentioned about early back 5 shouts out to Russ out. Could you explain that again?
You're going in and out a little bit, or is that just me?
Probably me
Okay.
on me. But you mentioned the 5 season battles that you had. I want to get more into that. What was your experience going through those battles?
During those battles, it was rough. Especially being closeted at that time. My voice is confident now, but I've never been a deep voiced individual. I always had a slightly higher pitched voice than a lot of my counterparts. So I had to go in there. You had to be good. You had to be tough. You had to be ready for that environment. That environment is very hyper masculine, very street, very hold no punches, very raw, very rough. It's not for the faint at heart.
Absolutely.
So, bitch, you better be good, bitch, or you're gonna get clowned in that arena. It's the Hunger Games. It was really the Hunger Games.
I couldn't agree more. Like, and every battle scene I've seen tends to have that ruggedness to it. Is it different from any other battles?
Well, in Baltimore, at least when I first started doing battles, I'm telling my age now, the money was good. So, but we were also that scene was the rap scene in general here has always had a street undertone to it. But at that time, it was a lot of the artists, a lot of our battles as far as prize money and stuff like that was funded by drug dealers. So it was nothing. But the thing is, you had to be good though, because you just wasn't gonna walk away with $500, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 if they're doing side bets. You're not gonna walk away easy. So you better be good. And 9 times out of 10, you had to have a crew with you unless you were like outstanding. That's the one thing I loved about battles, because I was not where I am today, where I'm very more refined in how my look is presented, photos and things like that. I look very rough. I had no fashion sense, no nothing. And being fat with no fashion sense is just absolutely the fucking worst. So you had to be good. If you weren't good, it's not going to happen. So that's kind of like where it was. It was the Hunger Games.
Absolutely. As a person that battled that much, and as a rapper battled that much, the culture can be very different from like outside studios. You know what I mean? So, could you explain the differences to some people that don't battle that?
So the difference in, and you're going in and out again, but I got what you said. The difference in studio recording and live battling. Studio recording, I always tell people, like, there was this period of time where everybody was like, I'm going to knock it out in one take, or what I said is what it is. The studio is for you to fuck up in. The studio is for where you are to get it right, to present to the public, to have that pristine product. So what, you had to do 20 takes. There are Oscar winners who had to film scenes 50 times. They recorded Car Wash, which is a legendary song. That song was recorded, I think, like almost 100 times or something like that. Like, it was recorded for them to go back to the first version. So that's where you make your mistakes. Live, that's like doing live. It's like doing live theater on Broadway. There is no mistakes, and if you make a mistake, you better have a good way to recover. Because, bitch, if you can't recover, is over for you. And it's a very public over. Battling is where you find out who can really do it live. Who's really good, you know. And I think now the arena has changed because now, like, it's so funny to me. Rappers now can say, "Oh, I don't do that. I don't do ciphers. I don't do battles." You couldn't say that when I first started. You just couldn't. Either you did everything or bitch you ain't do nothing. That was just a part of the gig. You know what I'm saying? Even if you wasn't the nicest cipher person or the nicest battle person, you at least had to show that you had some kind of competency. Even though your verse might not be the star of the show, bitch, you still got to rap. I've never seen in my life where people go to radio stations and to live events and say, "Oh, I don't do that."
That is very odd. That's a thing.
And it's accepted. It's acceptable.
Especially for a time where everybody does everything now, except for certain things, including rap.
Right. And it's interesting because I take this whole COVID-19 situation where a lot of people, I think honestly, from a live perspective, a lot of artists, both mainstream, national, down to your lower local level, a lot of people were stealing money as far as live shows concerned. The shows were fucking terrible. They're performing to their tracks. They show up at the club for 10, 15 minutes, yell one of the songs, and that's it. And now with COVID, it's forced people to be inventive. Now, if you were savvy with the internet, you're doing pretty decent, but you're finding out that a lot of your money needs to be made from shows and merch. You can't sell merch with a bad show. And the thing is, people don't realize that when the world does open back up, when shows do start happening again, guess what? Especially if you're an indie artist, you're now competing with a lot of mainstream acts. You're competing with big labels, the Warner Musics of the world, the Republics of the world, where they're like, guess what? Thundercat has an album that he couldn't tour earlier this year. He's getting this date first. Some venues are Live Nation venues. So now motherfuckers are going to be performing in coffee shops, restaurants, speakeasies, because you're not going to be able to say, "Oh, well, I'll do this date at Metro," or "I'll do this date at, 9:30. No, they want people that's going to fill seats. And the reality is, just because you bought 10,000 followers don't mean you can fill 10,000 seats.
The audience had to tell you. Appreciate that one.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. DDM doesn't have, and yes, I did just speak about myself in the third person, fight me. Okay? DDM doesn't have 10,000 followers, but the proof is in the pudding. When DDM puts on together a production, it sells. It does well. Because people know when they come, I'm going to give a guy what I'm presenting them. They're going to get a show. They're going to get a production. It's going to be together. Start happening again, and people have to spend their dollars when you're looking at a world where 40 million people are filing for unemployment. Now the choice of that show is harder now, because guess what, bitch? For that $20 now. Swayze, I can't hear you. You turn your volume down. I can hear you a little bit. Wait, are you in the basement? Is it in the basement?
Yeah. Before we get into the first album, no.
Okay.
But we're gonna take fix a few things and we're gonna write it back into talking about Baltimore. So we're gonna be right back.
Okay.